Our glorious leaders in the government have decided that the Abbey Gate bombing wasn't preventable.
Oh,
It was not preventable. So, according to the report, the suicide bombing at the Kabul airport that killed... Yeah, at the Kabul airport. I don't know why this is, but yeah, they killed U.S. troops and Afghans in August of 2001 was not preventable. And that the bald man in black spotted by U.S. service members in the morning of the attack was not the bomber, according to new review by U.S. Central Command. I wonder why U.S. Central Command would lie to you. I wonder why they would do that.
Well, I mean, why does the government lie to us? You know what I mean? Every time people like us, there's many of us, call out the government for the lies, and we say that's a lie.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the left that believe this shit always said, well, what do they gain from lying? What do they gain?
They gain everything. I want people to understand the reason why they would lie about this, because if this whole thing wasn't preventable, then nobody can be held to account, right? It was just a freak accident, a work of nature. It was a thing from God that came down and smited people randomly for no reason whatsoever. That's what they're going with. So the findings released Monday refuted assertions by some service members, because we cannot trust them. They're liars, big liars, who believe that the chance to take out the would-be bomber but did not get approval. So this is the sticking point that I have, is that they're trying to say that they didn't get approval to take out the guy that could have been prevented. So they have to get rid of this narrative saying it wasn't preventable because it wasn't the guy in the first place. So we were right and you were wrong. How many times in your experience, Michael, have on-the-ground personnel called for, hey, I need to take this guy out. He's literally with a shovel digging a hole in the middle of the road. Can I shoot him? No. No,
Yes.
you can't.
It's happened. And it happened in Afghanistan. My last time in Afghanistan, there were some guys that were looking kind of fishy.
Yeah.
And, the call was like, hey, these guys don't look right. My spidey senses are tingling. They're like, nah, just keep going. Come to find out, those are the same guys that freaking engaged us. Then they rolled out on a scooter and mocked us, and with no weapons, no nothing. They just came out and waved at us.
Yeah.
Happens all the time, man.
It happened a lot, where we would see guys literally digging the bombs, planting the shells in the ground, and they're like, can we shoot them? And they're like, no, you can't. It's like, well, it wasn't preventable. It's a freak accident that particular stretch of road that we saw the guy plant the IED happened to hit a Humvee. It's just a freak of nature. I don't know what happened. Where did that come from? That's what they want you to believe, right?
Or if there is accountability that they want to hold somebody accountable. They hold the people on the ground accountable, even though the people on the ground told the higher echelon that, hey, this is what we see. And sometimes they're even looking at the same thing on drone footage.
Yeah, especially the butter bar lieutenant that could literally just see it with his own eyes and just does nothing still because he needs to get higher approval because he went to college and he doesn't have any common sense.
Yeah.
But
he has a degree, though.
He got a degree. That's the only reason why he's a lieutenant, by the way. It's because he went to college.
Yeah, he had the determination to finish 4 years of sitting in a classroom and being indoctrinated.
I am still the major believer that Mustangs should be the only ones that are lieutenants, because having 4 years of college is not the same as 4 years of experience as an enlisted. Not the same.
Or should go, once you reach the rank of staff sergeant or sergeant first class, and you can put in some paperwork and you can get picked to move on to the officer corps. You know, you've got so much time, you've got so much experience now. As I was in 11 Bravo sergeant first class and I move up to lieutenant. I know what the heck I'm doing,
Yeah.
But they bring these,
you have experience.
Yeah, they bring these butter bars in and they're just like privates, and you got to teach them. You're spending more time teaching them everything. I shouldn't be teaching them. Me. He's supposed to be boss. Why am I teaching him anything?
So to put in perspective for non-military people, a butter bar is a lieutenant freshly out of school of OCS, right? Who is more than likely only 22, 23, somewhere in there.
Yeah, about 25.
Maybe 24. Yeah, 24, 25. Okay, so he's still a relatively young guy who's now in charge of people from the ages of like 18 all the way up to 30, 36.
Yep.
Right? So yeah, imagine how that works.
Telling some sergeant first class like me had 18 years in the Army. I got some butter barred with barely a year and a half, not even a year of active duty. They like to count the rest of that school time as time. In a unit, probably 6 months in a unit, going to tell me how things are going to go. No, don't work like that, buddy. Go over to sit in the corner, sit on your bouncing ball, sir. Color that coloring book.
It's time for nap time. There you go. Okay, so and this is the first time the U.S. military is confirming that the bomber was Abdul Rahman al-Laghari.
Oh yeah,
an Islamic State militant who had been in Afghanistan prison but was released by the Taliban. Oh, so it was the Taliban's fault, right?
Oh yeah,
there you go. It was the Taliban's fault.
Yeah,
that they were able to take over the entire country with no resistance. The Taliban.
Yeah. Created by America, CIA. But that's
exactly.
That's a different story. Yeah.
Totally different story. So the Abu Ghraib bombing during the final chaotic days of the Afghanistan withdrawal, you did that wrong, Marine Corps Times. That should have been Afghanistan surrender, which killed 13.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it was. You surrendered Afghanistan. You didn't withdraw. That was not a withdrawal. That was an escape. that was getting out of Dodge as fast as you possibly could. That was not a withdrawal.
Yeah,
we hadn't seen anything since Vietnam, and that was worse. This was worse than Vietnam. Just pointing that out.
People fail to realize that Biden's been messing up, and that's one of his bigger mess ups. They fail to forget all of that. The minute you talk about Afghanistan and the pullout, who did they blame? They blame Trump. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Trump wasn't even president. It's still his fault. It's still his fault. It was his policies. Oh, so when everything goes bad, it's Trump's fault. But when everything goes good, it's Biden gets credit for it. Trump had a good economy. Everything that happened in Trump's administration that was good, it wasn't him. That was the past guy that did it. Everything bad, it was his fault. You see how the Democrats work?
Yeah, everything's always not their fault. Yeah, even if they are at fault. It's never their fault.
They're always at fault.
So this is also the Marine that was talking about this. The former Marine Tyler Vargas Andrews told the House Foreign Affairs Committees last March that Marines and others had in the evacuation were given descriptions of the men believed to be plotting an attack. Vargas Andrews, who was injured in the blast but not interviewed in the initial investigation. So the guy that was calling them out wasn't interviewed in the initial investigation. Okay, that makes sense. Said he and others saw a man matching the description and might have been able to stop the attack, but requests for taken action were denied. Yeah. So and then the best part about this article is that in the briefing, in a detailed briefing with a small number of reporters, members of the team that did not review released photos of the bald man identified by military cyclists and potential threat and compared it to the photos al-Laghari. The team members who spoke to the reporters on condition of anonymity. We know what that means, right? When they say under the condition of anonymity, they don't want to be attached to this because most likely it's all lies. Because that's the only way they get these stuff out. So you're wanting to you want us to take the story on faith that you saw it, and that your reporting is completely accurate and true without any accurate sourcing.
Sure isn't. I don't. Every time we talk about the government, man, every time we talk about what they say in these articles, and it has nothing to do with the podcast, obviously, but it's just the fact when you hear the lies and the propaganda and you read it, we know it's all lies. We know it's propaganda, but we do it because we want to share information. It makes my stomach hurt, man. I'm sitting here because deep down, these people know they're lying. Biden doesn't need any more heat. So if they was to do a proper investigation and find out that Biden was at fault for this in some way, shape, or form, because he is the commander in chief, at the end of the day, he has to take responsibility for everything that happens and fails to happen, right? Mm-hmm. That would look very bad on him, and in this close to election time. Think about it. Why did they put this article out this close to election? Mm-hmm. Everything is a rich man's trick. There's a purpose why they do everything. Everything is timed and it's planned and it's strategic. We're going to put it out at this time so it doesn't look like Biden is a buffoon, but we all know he is.
I'll tell you why they did it. This is the exact reason why. Do you remember the State of the Union address when a certain Gold Star father was
Yes.
arrested for
Mhm.
interrupting the proceedings?
You're right.
Now they come out with a report and a review saying that it was nobody's fault. It just happened,
Mhm. So they can point the
right?
finger at that Gold Star father and say he's just a lunatic.
Yeah, exactly. Discrediting a family member who's rightly upset that one of his children is dead because of their ineptitude.
Yep. Now on that Gold Star father, wasn't there a certain president that they tried to say that he disrespected a Gold Star family? Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you remember that? You remember that?
Yeah, but it's okay to have them arrested as if
Yeah,
they're being unruly,
that's
right?
okay though.
That's totally fine.
Oh my god, man! I can't. It just drives me crazy how people, and not these people, not the people that follow Savage Patriots, and the people that kind of think in the same realm of BS with the government and their lies
Mhm.
as us. But the smooth brains, the tambourine playing monkeys,
Oh, man.
how can they not see it? And we talked about it backstage.
Yep.
You know, how can people not see it? It's so obvious. Like it is so obvious that these people are full of crap. I
Everybody
just
knows they're
I just
full of
don't
crap,
get it.
man.
I don't get it, man.
But they keep believing these people. That's the worst part about it is they keep believing that
Mhm.
these people are right, and they're not. They're obviously not. But that's just the way that our system is working right now, right? Is that they will tell you lies and tell you it's the truth, and even if you try to show them it's not true, it's still true,
Well,
regardless.
yeah, I have a theory behind that real fast. So
Mm,
our whole indoctrination system, I'm not going to call it education system. Our whole indoctrination system was created to create slaves.
yep.
When you create slaves, slaves have a slave mind. Slaves, not all, slaves look for their master to have all the answers. So with a lot of these smooth brains out here, they don't question anything because they believe that their masters, who they call government, are right and they have all the answers, and they're not going to go
They're
against their
betters.
they're not going to go against their master
Mhm.
because they're put there. They are the experts. They are smarter than us. This is the way they think. He's the president. He's smarter than us. No, he's not. This person is a doctor. He's smarter than you. No, he's not. Just
Yeah.
because you read a book and you went through some schooling and you did all this fancy stuff doesn't make you smarter. Just means you're probably good at what you do and you worked hard to be good at your craft, but doesn't
Mm,
make you smarter than your average man. There's homeless guys there's guys that didn't graduate high school that are smarter than half these people. I'm just
yep.
saying, stop living like a slave up here.
I've already had a good comment. This is funny. Snap. Listen while I play my green tambourine. Gonna be on my smooth brain all night. Nice.